Welcome to day 47 of me trying to get rid of my porn addiction in 120 days. It's been 47 days on NoFap and I have hit a plateau. The benefits, the changes, it's been stagnant. It's not the same as it was the first 3 weeks of NoFap, the first month. What I've noticed is that now this is just kind of my life. You know, I don't really feel tempted to watch porn anymore. It's not the first thing I think of. Now I'm just living. In a way, I feel like I've completed this challenge because the main objective for the challenge was for me to document me overcoming this addiction that has ruined my life so I can inspire others to be on the same journey. Inspire them to overcome their porn addictions and start living life true to who they are and stop limiting their potential. I found that me making videos on how I feel every day isn't really as beneficial anymore. You know, it's not as beneficial for the viewer. It's not beneficial for me because there's not really much that I could talk about. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to continue the challenge. I'm going to continue this challenge, but I want to talk more so about certain topics that I believe is very important. And that topic that I want to talk about today is mental health. Mental health is something that is hugely neglected in the manosphere. And if you don't know what the manosphere is basically a male space on the internet talking about what makes a man, the characteristics of a man. What I always see preached is that you should just hold in your feelings, you know, just man up, be a man, don't show emotion. And though I do agree you shouldn't show emotion, you should be letting out those emotions in a healthy way. You see a lot of these guys who have this type of characteristic where they just hold themselves in, you know, they're nonchalant, this, that. They're not nonchalant. They only show you that they're nonchalant in the moment. And I really want you to listen to what I said. Really grasp that. No one is truly nonchalant. Being nonchalant just means that you don't show your emotions. You still feel shit. But you just let it slide. But the difference between the so-called nonchalant guys and the guys who are very emotional is that the nonchalant guys usually have something that they use to get out of those emotions. For example, it could be the gym, could be walking out in nature, journaling, fighting, go to the playing sports as well. There's a multitude of ways that you could get out these emotions. But I think there's an even better way to approach mental health. Those things will get you so far. I do believe that you need to let out the anger somehow. You know, if you're having a bad day, things are just on your mind, shit's been hitting the fan, do something physical, especially as a man. If we feel great after some cardio, you go play some competitive sports, it's great. But something that will really accelerate your growth as a man and also just your mental health is meditation, journaling, getting out into nature. Those three things will help you so much in not only just your mental but your growth. When you meditate, you are forcing your brain to focus. You know, you're forcing your brain to recognize what you're thinking. The act of meditation is controlling your thoughts. That's literally what meditation is. So let's say you're having a terrible thought, you're having a terrible day, you're just bullying yourself, or you're just thinking about this one thing that's been on your mind obsessively. When you meditate over and over and over again for days and you have like a streak, you are basically practicing you taking control of your fucking mind. You realize how powerful that is. For athletes, if you overthink before a game, this could genuinely change your performance in a game. For people who are overthinkers, who have ADHD, at work or are trying to do YouTube and they can't focus. Meditating will help you focus. You know, like speaking from experience, I've had ADHD my whole life. I've always been so fidgety, I can't stand still. Meditating has helped that. It's helped me focus a lot better than in the past. Obviously, I still like can't focus 100% of the time. You know, no human being can, but it's helped me, and it's also just helped my quality of life. When you're overthinking about something, you can just be like, all right, just turn it off. You know, you just redirected that energy into something else. It's helped me. You know, it's also helped my anxiety. I've had anxiety a lot as well, and I just fully recommend it. Anyone who starts meditating today will instantly see an ROI. Maybe not instantly, but after a week, you'll see the difference. You know, you'll see the difference. Just keep doing it, and I'm telling you, you'll see the difference. You'll see the difference in how you feel. You'll see the difference in how you react to things as well. You know, before I used to just be very reactive when people would, like, let's say someone was insulting me. I would be very reactive. Now that I've meditated, like I've meditated for multiple months, if someone's trying to poke at me, it's kind of like I can kind of think now how I'd want to react, rather than just reacting outright, you know, out them. Let's say I'm just trying to insult them back, I'm just screaming. I could just think about the most logical answer, and then, you know, let it out. And same with just making decisions. You won't be as erratic or as like, just, what's the word? You won't be like just doing things based off your feelings. You'll be thinking it more clear. You'll be thinking about it more in depth. And that's the thing. Is I really believe that if you meditate, let's say you meditate for a month, you'll see the difference. Try it. And if you don't like it, then you don't have to do it, but just try it. Next is journaling. Journaling really is a great habit to have, because what journaling does is it takes out those things that you're thinking about in your head, those things that is just occupying your mind. Let's say some bitch just like was being weird to you, or some girl broke your heart. When you journal that, you just let the pen do the work. You go crazy. You could read back and really see how you were thinking, see your state of mind. And that's powerful, because what that does is it takes out that energy that was so held into your mind onto the paper. You're essentially letting out problems from your mind, as it's just kind of like how when you're meditating, you kind of redirect the energy and you can kind of take away from the energy. Journaling is literally taking out the energy, you know. And on top of that, you could also journal for, let's say, decisions as well. You could just journal for, let's say, a loved one. There's things you want to say to a loved one and they're pissing you off or something. You could just journal the stuff that you want to say, just that you don't, you know, destroy that relationship. On top of that, you can also, all in all, just journaling is a great thing. You know, journaling is a great thing. I'd recommend anyone to journal, you know, because what that does is, as I said, it redirects that energy, and it helps you get a grasp of how you're thinking. Oh crap. I think another one might be coming out. Oh, that was a mean one. Damn. I don't know if there's some dust in my car. I think there might be. Let's see. Give me 3 seconds. Okay, I think I'm good. But anyways, yeah, journaling. Journaling is great. When I started journaling, I instantly saw like the instant ROI of me, just how I felt, you know, the emotions that I was feeling. Like it made more sense why I was thinking and feeling a certain way. You know, for example, I'm gonna get really personal. I was journaling a lot about times when I got bullied. You know, why was I getting bullied? What could I have done? And it really dives deep into what, like, when you journal, you really dive deep into why certain things happen and what you are doing for those things to happen, you know? So if you really want to understand yourself, be more self-aware, and just all in all, just have better mental health, be a better person, I'd recommend you do meditation and journaling. You know, you meditate, journal every day. It doesn't even have to be that long. It can only be for like 5 to 10 minutes. The reason why I'm talking about mental health is because it's one of the biggest things, especially for men nowadays, that is so uncomfortable to talk about. But I'm just telling you right now, if you lock in and you focus on your mental health, this could be the thing that will change your life. There are people who have millions. They have millions. Things that people have, these things that society deem as success. For example, money, status, fame. And they're killing themselves mainly for one thing, and that's mental health. So this should be something you take seriously. This should be something that you should try to improve, because I'm telling you, you could have everything, but still, you could have nothing simply because your mental health is poor. Anyways, hope you have a great day, and remember to meditate, journal, and get outside because it's summer. But anyways, peace.